Welcome everyone to an excellent Domination showdown between a Rubber Duck of War and Nurgle going up against Grand Cathay. Now we are going to be playing on the Silver Spire, which has some very strong home domination points. So point 1 here going to be very good for Grand Cathay, point 3 going to be strong for Nurgle and Rubber Duck. So it's really down to how we kind of decide to maneuver around the map. Are we going to be putting a big emphasis on their home point, or are we going to be trying to dominate point 2 in the middle? So Jade Warriors here with the Sword and Shield in the front line, 4 in total, 4 units of the Peasant Long Spearmen in the backside, and then also 1 unit of the Celestial Dragon Guard coming with some very elite infantry, and then also double elite range here with the Celestial Dragon Crossbows. So bucketloads of armor piercing and very, very good tank indeed. For the Lord choice in the sky, we are going to have the Lord of Yin. The Yin magic coming with quite a few spells, so the Ancestral Warriors, as well as the Cloak of Jet, the Talons of the Night, Missile Mirror, Storm of the Shadows, and then the ability of the Scales of the Celestial Court. So we're also going to have the Power of Yin, the Will of the Dragons, Arcane Conduit, and the Jade Amulet to give some extra mana, and then that Lore passive is going to be quite strong there on the domination points. So for Ducky and Nurgle, we're going to go really hard here in the sky. So Plague Drones here, the Death Head is going to be very, very powerful indeed. Of course, going from 7 up to 10 ammunition, so making them just a little bit more powerful considering they have been also buffed with that reduction in cost. Plague Drones on the right, and then just regular Rotflies in the middle. So yeah, quite diverse, but very strong in the sky indeed. On the floor, we are going to have Nurglings backed up by Forsaken, and then a nice, exalted, great unclean one. The big Chungus boy here is ready to go. The Pestilence Decay, incredibly powerful on domination, with Arcane Conduit, Children of Nurgle, and then also Stench. So we are going to have the spells of Fleshy Abundance, Miasma of Pestilence, the Stream of Corruption, and the brilliant ability of Blight Swarm, which can actually affect up to 5 units in a 30-meter radius. Negative 20 melee defense for that many units is very powerful indeed. So we can see we do actually have deployments on both sides, so we really can, and we really do need to deploy on both sides so we can kind of shut off our home domination point, make sure we can maintain that, and then fight over the middle. Nurgle, of course, is going to be one of the slowest alongside Grand Cathay, so normally this, I would say, favours Grand Cathay in this particular matchup, just due to their range. They can normally shoot down the big Chungus rather quickly. But also here, we are going to get a bunch of Rotflies coming over to the right-hand side, maybe trying to see if we can push them off domination point 1, just hold as much time as we can. But Ducky is going to come forward here. Nurgle's charging forward. We do get 2 summons in the back. That's going to be some Forsaken and an extra unit of the Plague Toad. So Plague Jitsu coming to the front here, and looks like we have some more Jade Warrior Crossbows in the back. Now, of course, the biggest problem with the Rotflies and the Plague Drones, they've only got 40 armor, so they can be taken down rather quickly, even just by cheap range such as the Jade Warrior Crossbows. They may only be 600 gold, but they don't need much AP here to take down the big boys in the sky. So the Lord of Yin just going to be kind of hanging around, acting all cool, shooting some of that meatball outside the school. But here we are going to have the Exalted Great and Clean one with the Storm of Shadows. So we're going to be slowing down the big Exalted Chungus. Maybe don't want him getting too far forward. But when we have the Dragon Crossbows in the back, when they get into position, they are just going to melt everything here, including the Forsaken. So we really need some mobile units, such as the Plague Toads, to get around the flanks here. Maybe even summoning on the left-hand side here for Ducky, and compromising some of the tools here from Grand Cathay could be quite nice. But this is really good coming from Grand Cathay. They are going to set up. They are now going to be shooting. They're going to do the damage, and then hopefully they'll come up in stages. Bit of damage, move up, and then just a little bit more damage and move up and try and slowly swallow the map. Now, of course, Nurgle is going to be pushing on relatively quickly. Nice positioning from Ducky. He's going to be behind kind of these lighting gems and just trying to see if we can get as much range cover as, you know, Nurgle possible. So, Rotflies in the sky, we do actually have some Chaos Furies as well. Chaos Furies should probably be diving here on the backside up against the Jade Warrior. They don't have as much armor here as the Celestial Dragon Crossbows, but I do say that with the stance ability, they do go up to 90, so they can be rather tanky indeed. In the middle, the Dragon Guard just going to be holding. We do actually see some Peasant Horsemen charging in amongst the Chaos Furies, trying to see if we can get all the damage and the focus here off the Celestial Dragon Crossbows. In the sky coming forward are going to be the Rotflies. They're going to try and clean up here as much as they can. Fury's now going to be diving down on the second unit as well. We can see the Forsaken really have been chewed apart here. Jade Warriors now going to be fighting on a little bit more of an even playing field. Stream of Corruption down the line. Oh my god, so much damage up against the Celestial Dragon Guard. That's the problem if you stand still there. So much damage, nearly 50% up against that elite unit of infantry. So we do capture here with Domination point 1. Nurgle do capture Domination point 3 here, which is the cheap unit of Nurglings. In the back, we are going to have the Forsaken, more of the Plague Toads coming across. I really want to see the left-hand side here used just a little bit more. We can sneak around the backside and start compromising some of these Celestial Dragon Guard. Ducky captures the middle, and now it's going to be a 2v1 as he starts to take the lead here on tickets. In the middle, we are going to be having the Lord Choice just swinging his bell around and just smashing into these Jade Warriors. At the top, the Death Head's going to be firing, I think, here up against the Celestial Dragon Guard. Not a bad choice. They do have 95 armor. They do have bronze shields as well, so maybe there should be some negation here. It's a little bit hard to say. I haven't really looked too much into how that works. But we do have the Plague Drones and Nurgle fighting here up against the Peasant Long Spearmen, a very cheap and extremely cost-efficient way to get rid of these Plague Drones. Rotflies in the back, they're going to be compromising, and we do actually force out a summon of the Ancestral Warriors. They're going to be in the back. They're also going to be having that physical resistance thanks to being ethereal, but we should have magic damage here with all of these kind of demons. In the back, we get another Celestial Dragon Guard summon. We're also going to be having the Jade Warrior Halberds, more Peasant Horsemen, Crossbows coming to the front line here. So 2 Crossbows in the back ready to go yet again. And we can start shredding up against the Plague Toads. And look at this, we're now coming on the left-hand flank. We can really get in around, but it looks like the Peasant Longspearmen are going to be the brave heroes of old as they're going to be fighting up against the Toadjitsu at the front. Look at this, belly flops everywhere. Kung Fu kicks, you name it. Big tongue flips as they're destroying the Peasant Longspearmen. Very nice stuff indeed. But we do see here the Dragon Crossbows ready to shoot into the big juicy targets that are the Plague Toads. Stream of corruption down the line, and that is filthy damage. The Celestial Dragon Crossbows have been finished by this disgusting tear-shaped spell. In the sky, we are going to have the Plague Drones and Nurgle fighting here up against the Lord Choice. Fury's in as well, but the Furies probably want to get past and start compromising these Dragon Crossbow. Jade Warriors as well are going to be a bit of a nuisance, and this is the problem with dealing with Nurgle for sure. When they get past the domination point, they're so tanky that they're such a nuisance to certainly push through. So of course, with Grand Cathay, they're now going to be trapped in the backside. They're getting the damage, but sadly they're not getting that map control. And Forsaken now going to be challenging up against the Peasant Long Spearmen. That's a really good engagement there for Ducky. In the pocket, we are going to have the Forsaken of Nurgle fighting here up against the Celestial Dragon Guard. On top here with the Exalted Great Unclean One, which we're going to be dissipating the damage through the infantry. He's also going to be using that Pestilence Decay just to really rip apart some of that health, just ticking over time up against that elite infantry unit. Jade Warrior Halberds moving into the middle up against the Plague Toads. In the sky, we are going to have the Plague Drones fighting still here up against the Lord Choice, and this is the problem with bringing no flying forces. Now he can get to the floor, so good work here. He's now going to be on the floor. Now we can kind of engage with a lot of infantry. Nice stuff from Ducky. Looks like he's not going to engage here. He's going to maybe fly to the back up against the Dragon Crossbows. Also, we have some more Dragon Crossbows in the back, and then some more over here as well. They look pretty damn damaged, so it's a little bit unfortunate there. In the middle, so we are starting to get some map control here as Grand Cathay, but we need to get a little bit more forward, and we still certainly got this right hand side. People forget, they kind of get trapped in this right hand side. They need to start attacking over here as well, start getting forward onto domination point, really force Ducky here and Nurgle to have to rotate some certain units so we can really split up the chunky force of Nurgle. So 2,000 points up against 1,080. So when we get 1,000 points ahead, we'll be getting an extra 5 tickets per second. When we get 2,000 points ahead, that's when we start getting an extra 10 tickets per second. In the backside, we do have some Plague Toads, so they could fight up against the Jade Warriors. They might do quite well. They've got some good anti-infantry and poison damage, but of course, if the Jade Warriors do stand still, they do go up to 90 armor, so they can be a bit of a nuisance to deal with. Jade Warrior Crossbows just going to be holding true as well, but this is forcing kind of resources to come over to Domination Point 1 to have to kind of hold here, just in case Ducky does want to take that point. In the back, we are going to get the elite Exalted Plague Bearers, the boys here that do have some Death Heads in their back pocket, ready to throw in the front. A little bit like blasting charges, they can do some very good work indeed. The Forsaken of Nurgle charge to the front, 42 speed is really quite fast as well. With 85 armor, just regular crossbows, they can do okay, but of course you do need some good armor piercing here to deal with these big chunky units. So we do see the Exalted Great Unclean One. He's going to be coming back, maybe a healing spell going down here. There we go. Fleshy Abundance is going to be activated. 1.6% per second is huge amount of healing. There's no bigger healing spell in the game here than Fleshy Abundance. But yeah, we're going to be getting some gorgeous stuff there on the Exalted Great Unclean One. And he's done rather well so far. 169 kills is absurdity at this level of the game. So we're going to be 8 minutes in. 2,800 tickets here to Ducky. 1.5k coming in for Grand Cathay. We now really start pushing onto these points. Now Ducky's not really going to be looking after Domination Point 3 too much. He could just move out the Nurglings and kind of cut off this space, or someone on the left hand side here in the Vanguard deployment, and then start cutting off the angles. But we need to get some of this cavalry in the back and really start forcing Ducky around the map. Start using the other side of the spawn as well. And this is where you find most forces kind of struggle just a little bit. Yes, you want to get the infantry in the front. You want to be protecting all these Celestial Dragon crossbows, the Jade Warrior crossbows, and all sorts. But the problem is that, you know, you're going to be kind of forced into this pocket. Forsaken going to be shattering the Peasant Long Spearmen. Jade Warrior Halberds falling. Peasant Long Spearmen falling. And yeah, the Peasant Horsemen as well. They're really going to be suffering in the pocket. The Lord Choice is going to have to get away. We do actually have Furies kind of assaulting him here in the backside. Those the scales of the Celestial Court really not going to be helping. That physical resistance up against that magic damage of the Furies is just not going to be helpful at all. 70 armor is not huge. We do actually have 44 weapon strength plus poison up against the Lord Choice in the sky. That's why we need the crossbows to come forward and help shoot here up against the lightly armored Furies. For me, there's quite a bit of range here in the back. We don't have quite enough infantry, or at least enough heavy cavalry. Great Longbow Riders can be very, very good choices to get in the back and start compromising quite a few units. So we are going to get the very strong Pox Riders. I'm a big fan of these bad boys. They're very, very strong indeed. Plague Toads as well, just super good with the mobility, good anti-infantry as well. They get the back and just really shut down some of these crossbows. So we're coming forward with a bit more elite cavalry here from Ducky and Nurgle, really trying to cement this middle point. So 3,730 there in the middle. We do actually have some Peasant Horsemen here on the side. Could we get into the back here? If we can fight up against the Nurglings, there's no reason we can't take them down. And of course, they've got 0 armor, not great melee stats. They do have poison, so they can do quite well, but some of the cavalry here is just going to be a little bit too idle for me. Peasant Long Spearmen are going to be dealing with the Furies, and it looks like here we are going to have a stream of corruption down the line here of the Jade Warriors. Very, very nice work indeed, just really whittling the most important infantry units coming forward. They're kind of coming one by one now. You really need to get a little bit earlier, get those forces together, and push as a single, contingent, rather than going bit by bit by bit. In the back here, we are going to have the Plague Toads fighting here up against the Peasant Horsemen. Just one unit going to be holding back 3 here. So it's going to be about, what, about 500 gold there for the Peasant Horsemen, and then 500 for the Jade Warriors. So that's 1,500 in the back, dealing with 650 gold from Ducky. That's really, really cost efficient here on the battlefield. More of the Pox Riders in the back, compromising the Jade Warrior crossbows. The Peasant Horsemen really trying to help there in the back as well. We do see some Jade Lancers. There's quite a few in the rear pocket. These bad boys are heavily armored. Just one unit in the backside would be quite difficult for Ducky to deal with. So getting these in the back and, you know, kind of pressurizing those Nurglings would be very, very strong indeed. So we can see quite a few shattered and broken units in the backside. Of course, these being broken will actually lower the leadership of the remaining units over here on the left-hand side. So the Exalted Plague Bearers have used all of their ammunition here in the front. Now they can fight up against the majority of the infantry. We do see Jade Lancers really struggling. They're going to be going down to 850 health. They'll be breaking off the battlefield. The Exalted Chungus coming forward, and he's going to be getting shot by at least 2 units at the moment. We do actually have some of the Jade Warriors in the back. Some of the more Jade Warriors as well are going to be breaking. And that was going to be a spell there down the line of the Celestial Dragon Guard. So, really good game here coming from Ducky, and just really showing how you can be, you know, very, very strong with Nurgle. They are a particularly slow force here on Domination, but so are Cathay, and I feel like they got good damage. Some of the trades they got were very strong as well. I feel like, though, there was something missing. There's always something missing with Cathay in Domination for me. They're very, very strong on land battles. You know, they're definitely mid to top tier. And in the Domination game, they just don't feel as fluid as I'd like them to do. They don't really have too much damaging infantry. Where you actually come in with the Jade Warriors, I've seen quite a few people bring them into sort of the gold chevron range, where they actually have just a little bit more DPS from that melee attack, and then they can do a little bit better if they get those buffs from the Harmony. And they can actually do some quite nice work indeed. And, you know, they will challenge here up against Forsaken if given the chance, because that melee defense is quite high. I've seen it certainly get up to about 56 to 58. It can be very, very difficult to deal with these bad boys. We did have a couple of halberds in the back pocket as well. Jade Warrior halberds can do quite nicely. You know, kind of cycle charging with Jade Lancers, just using the other side of the battlefield. I wanted to use this kind of game as an example, as how well you can do with Nurgle if you capture the domination point and push past, but then also you know, kind of keep reinforcing those units, keep that nice and healthy, get those good trades, and Nurgle can be incredibly powerful. So if we start here with Ducky, we are going to have 228 kills, 3,030 damage value, very strong indeed, 2,031 and 240 for the Plague Drones of Nurgle, with also 290 and 320 there for the Rockflies. 530 for the Forsaken of Nurgle, and 0 there for the Nurglings. Bit surprised here, of course we had 4 units of Jade Lancers in the back pocket that we just didn't really see. I would have liked to see those kind of getting into the back and compromising those Nurglings, forcing Ducky to kind of have to split up his force a bit, and then with all the crossbows we had in the backside, we then could have, maybe slowly started picking apart Nurgle. I definitely think this is Grand Cathay favoured, but it's certainly not an easy one. So for the reinforcements, we got only 300 there for the Exalted Plague Bearers. They got damaged quite a bit. They used all their death heads as well. So, yeah, not too much value. A little bit surprised by that. 320 there for the Pox Riders. 350, 500, and pretty much 480 there for the Forsaken with 150. 260, 460, 280, and 0 for the Plague Toads of Nurgle, with also 750 and 900 for the Furies. So very, very strong there from the Furies. So the Lord of Yin, we did manage to get some summons in there as well, but only 450 value. I think maybe actually coming with some other ideas, because of course Nurgle's quite lightly armoured, so the Dragon's Breath, maybe some Jade Shields here and there, which could really help bolster and fight up against the Forsaken of Nurgle. Some good shivers on the Jade Warriors, also adding the Jade Shield on top, and then they're also getting that defensive stance for the extra armour. Could actually go a really long way about winning some of those infantry forces with, just cheap Jade Warrior crossbows in behind. So we do see 500 from the Celestial Dragon Guard, 2,180 there for the Celestial Dragon Crossbows, and 2,480. Very, very strong. I think Celestial Dragon Crossbows are really overlooked. They're a very, very powerful element on the battlefield, but of course you can't go as wide. But if you can protect them, as you can see here, coming in at 4,500 damage value, very, very strong indeed. 90 there, 250, 250, and 250 from the Jade Warriors, with 1,488 and 600 for the Peasant Long Spearmen, which are very, very powerful indeed. So the other two not really coming in at much, 120 there for the other units. We did see quite a few Peasant Horsemen, so 215, 560, 340, and 470 there. Not too sure what these would have brought to the battlefield. They would beat Nurglings, but they won't really beat much else. Yeah, they pretty much get beaten back by everything else. Of course, if you want to go... And the thing is, you had so much cavalry here that we just didn't use. And I think actually just bringing more halberds to the battlefield might have been, more prudent, I would have thought. But 280 there for the Jade Warrior halberds. Crossbows coming at 540, 480. 0 for the extra Jade Warriors. We didn't use any of the Jade Lancers, apart from this one in 650. 1,500 from the Celestial Dragon Crossbows. Maybe coming with 3 or 4 of these at the same time, maybe from the beginning, plus some cavalry to summon in behind to, maybe support some of those flanks. And, maybe then, mass infantry might have been the way forward here to take down this big ducky force. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please feel free to smash that like button. Feel free to leave a comment as low, but of course, always be respectful. And other than that, do feel free to subscribe. It really does help the growth of the channel, and I would personally really appreciate it. Check out that description where you can find all my other social media platforms, including my Twitch, which I will be streaming shortly. I've been extremely busy with work recently, so just hold on with me for a moment. And then also check out that Discord, where you can see pretty much anything I ever do here in the Total War Warhammer kind of world. So, I've been your boy Logic. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all very, very soon.